All right, we are live. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for attending and watching, whether you're watching us live or you're picking us up at some later date. My name is Gene Marks. I'm president of the Marks Group PC. We're based outside of Philadelphia, and we are a Dynamics CRM partner. We also sell 4 other CRM applications, Zoho CRM, Salesforce, Goldmine software, as well as Nimble software as well. But today we're here to talk about Dynamics CRM. And I have with me a friend of mine, a client of mine. His name is Todd Whitmore. Sorry, Todd. And he is, I guess, in charge of IT at Oliver Heating, correct?
That's correct.
All right, that's great. So, Todd, let me just first ask, everybody, Todd is a user of Dynamics CRM, and his company, we implemented it, 6 months ago, something like that, or maybe even longer. But before we even get to when we implemented it, let me first ask you, Todd, just to sort of introduce yourself. Tell me what you do at Oliver Heating, and tell me a little bit about Oliver Heating, the kind of company that it is.
Okay, Todd Whitmire, as Gene said. I'm the IT manager here at Oliver. We are a heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical company. We do service both residential and commercial customers from the tri-state area. We cover Delaware, New Jersey, southern New Jersey, and Pennsylvania here, 4 counties in Pennsylvania we cover. We have approximately 225 employees. We have, right now we have 27 users in CRM. We've been putting all of our departments or our divisions in. We started off with a smaller group of division with about, at the beginning, we had about 9 or 10 users, and now we're up to 27. We have all but 2 of our departments using CRM fully, and hopefully by the end of the year we'll have another one in, and in first quarter we're shooting for to have our final department up and running with CRM.
That's great. What did you guys do before you implemented Dynamics CRM? I mean, what applications and databases were running?
That's a good question. We had a modge-podge or a hodgepodge of many different things. We were kind of like most everybody using spreadsheets here. Every department kind of had their own way of tracking everything. We used a software package that was called Market Sharp. It's been around for many years. We've been using it here for probably about 15 years. And we did some add-ons, some customization with it, but it never worked fully for all of our departments. It was one of those pieces of software you had to have in order to use it, the licensing and everything, and it's getting harder and harder. And then it got the version that we was using was unsupported. So it was, like I said, it was a modge-podge of everything. As one department was using, they had their Excel spreadsheets, another one had their different Excel spreadsheets, but nobody had anything that was uniform. And that's why we started looking, and we contacted your company because we wanted to find, we knew there were products out there. We needed to find the product that would work best for us.
Makes sense. Now, when you started with Dynamics, you said you started with about 9 people, correct?
Correct.
And what group were they in, and what were they doing with it at first?
That was our commercial installation department, our estimators. And then we have our parts manager and our coordinator for that department. Each of our departments for our sales groups, each one has a department coordinator, somebody responsible for taking the leads or the opportunities, setting appointments, and putting the initial information into CRM. So it was all of our commercial estimators. We started with them. We felt that would have been the easiest group to start with. Their requirements weren't as high as some of the others. So that's where we started with them. And like I said, they've been using it. I'd say it's close to a year now for that department.
Wow,
It's been a while. It's before you know it, time flies by pretty quick when you're having fun. So, but we got them going. We kind of brought them in the beginning. We wanted them to be a part of from the initial setup, so we got their input. So it wasn't just like we were just dumping something onto their plate and say, "Here, eat this." We got them involved in it. They gave us a lot of great ideas. We were able to incorporate those ideas, and it was a better for them because it was easier to get their buy-in since we made them a part of the planning process.
That's actually great advice. So getting the group involved from the beginning and letting them sort of build the system together with you was like a big help, right?
Oh, extreme. Makes a big difference.
Right. Did you have support from management? I mean, you're the IT guy. Sometimes when IT guys try to implement these systems, they run into, a brick wall. I mean, what was that like?
We have support from the management. The management was, they wanted everybody's reports and everything to look the same. So I try to, explaining to them, if you want something, everybody's, dressed in the same uniform, you kind of have to take them to the same store. So that's when I, was telling the idea that we need to get a product that will be able to handle all of our departments and be flexible enough that we can make it a little bit different for each one, because we know that not all the departments are the same. So we had to make, we have to be able to tweak it. So management, they came on board from the very beginning. And that's a good point, because you do need management on your side, because they're the ones that kind of they have to make sure that their people are using it. I can show them how to use it. I can, make it what they want. I don't have the authority to make people do it, to use it.
Right.
So the management's buy-in was a big key to it.
So besides management buying in, which is huge, you're right. Was there anything else? Like sometimes we have problems with clients getting people to use the system. Did you have that problem at all? Did everybody just start, using it right off the bat, or was there resistance?
There was, I wouldn't say resistance, but there was a few people. Let's face it, not everybody's technically, some people are technically challenged. So when you give them something new, they're used to writing it on their little, notepad, and now you give them a different tool when it's all, it's in the form of a tablet or the app on their smartphone, or they have to go to, through the, the web. Not everybody picked it up. So, but what we did is the department managers, we can tell, you can tell in CRM, if people aren't updating things, there's a reason why. We found out that, some people just needed a little bit more training. So then we just, I did one-on-one training, not just with the individual, but brought their managers in too. So it would be me, the individual, the user, with that manager, and then we could all sit around the table, had it on the big screen, and could go through, okay, this is how you do this, if they had any problems, any questions, and they know, for me, most people in IT, we get questions and emails kind of all day long. So if they have a problem, they call me up, and I can walk them through what they're looking for. But there will be some.
Right. Yeah, you had mentioned before that if something was missing, it would come to your attention or manager's attention. That's meant that more training would be needed. How did you know if stuff was missing?
Well, because with the CRM, it's all live, so you can tell. If we know, I'm going to use plumbing department for an example. Let's say if we know the plumbing department's doing, 5 jobs, 10 jobs a week, jobs being sold, and we're installing, bathrooms or whatever it might be. But in CRM, you're only seeing 1 or 2 opportunities being won. We know they're not updating the system the way they should, because we want to use that. That's the tool for the department manager, so he can log in there and look at reports, and he can see where his sales numbers are for any given day. So what was happening is, somebody would sell a job on Monday, write it up on paper to turn it in, but they weren't updating the information in CRM. So what was going on one side wasn't matching on the other side. So it's, because we don't use the CRM as for billing purposes. We have our ERP system that does that. And they can see, hey, well, I'm getting all this billing, but on CRM, it says I'm not doing anything. So that was the indicator. Plus, like I said, it's all live. So you can go in there at any point in time And we have email notifications that go out in the CRM. So we know if somebody closes an opportunity as one, an email notification goes out to the department manager letting them know. And if he's not getting any notifications, but he knows the work's being done, something somewhere is missing. That's how we were able to figure it out.
Got it. You were just talking about your own involvement as the administrator. You've got about 27 users in the system now. About how much time do you think you spend on average per week on something CRM related?
Right now, it's probably, it's not that, I'd say 10 hours or less. Once it's designed and up and running, it's just, every once in a while, I just go in there and, check to make sure the workflows are running properly. Email notifications are going out. It's kind of like, once you set up an email server, once it's up and running, there's really it's not like a daily thing. You have to go and spend 5 hours a day. It's pretty self-sufficient. It
Right.
kind of supports itself.
How have you found performance to be?
Say that again.
How have you found performance to be?
For the CRM, the performance-wise, we have not had a problem. We use the hosted; it's all online, which makes it nice because then anybody, it is accessible from anywhere, from any device that has internet connectivity, pretty much. There was a few times in the very beginning that we had some connectivity issues, but it was never last maybe 30 minutes, and after that you're fine. But other than that, we really haven't had any issues with that.
Got it. Now, are your users pretty much all Outlook users?
They are. Everybody in the offices, we are a Microsoft company. Everybody uses Outlook. Our salesmen, it's a little different. They're on the road a lot. So not necessarily do they sit at their computer with Outlook open all the time. They do mostly everything, during the day is from either a tablet or a smartphone. So there's, we ran into a few hiccups with that.
What kind of hiccups?
Well, with the synchronization, because the CRM synchronization for Outlook kind of requires that the Outlook be up and running. So if a salesman's on the road and say he doesn't log in and open up his Outlook for 3 days, well, you don't get that synchronization. So then, that would created two issues. One is that he would go in and close an opportunity as one. Well, it's looking for his Outlook to send out that email notification, letting everybody know that the opportunity won. So they would sit in the queue, and then when I would log in, I would run the queue to see if, just to check to see if there's any emails pending. And I do that on a daily basis just because you never know. That's one thing that I do, but it doesn't, I have a saved filter, so it takes, less than 5 minutes to log in and run it just to see. And then it'll tell me who's running it or who it's coming from. So I could just log in and take a look at their Outlook and make sure, and then it would send those emails. The other issue is that without the Outlook running, it doesn't sync their appointments from their into the CRM. So when you're trying to set an appointment in CRM, you don't know if they're free or busy. So you can get everybody trying to grab the same time frame on Outlook. So
right.
That was the only really hiccup that we've come across.
How do you I'm trying to think how you get around that. I mean, you can leave Outlook running all the time, but your sales guys still go offline, right? I mean, they're traveling.
That's correct. So the last talked with Carrie and Corey a couple of weeks ago, and they mentioned a product called Riva. It's a third product synchronization.
Right.
So I had yesterday I had a conference call with them, and we're setting up a 15-day trial. And this product doesn't matter whether the Outlook is open or not. So it's in between our it hosted Exchange and
Right.
the hosted CRM, and it's should take care of that problem. So we'll find out here in the next couple of days. I'll get a couple people set up that we're having these issues with, and it's something that we'd have to have for all of our salesmen probably, because like I said, a lot of those guys, they're out on the road. They might be going from client to client, from customer to customer, and they don't have time to sit down and open up their Outlook and let all the synchronizations and everything go. So if this will work in the background, then our problem will be solved. And
Makes
what
sense.
I've heard, go ahead.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. Like I said, from what I've heard and read online about it, it should solve the problem.
Yeah, we have a few clients that use Riva. So it's an Exchange CRM synchronization back and forth. That doesn't necessarily need Outlook to be up and running. So it is a good solution. Which brings up another question. Are you guys using any other third-party products or add-ons with your CRM system now, or yet?
Not yet. Nope. We're just going strictly with the CRM. We want to get all of our departments on. The next department that we're working on is a smaller department, about small, 7 salesmen. So once we get them up and running, then our last one is going to be the biggest challenge for us to get in. And then once we get that, then we might look at doing other things with CRM. We have some other smaller departments that we might be adding in there, but I'm kind of the mindset. We all know there's a whole bunch of add-ins and different products that you can use with it. Trying to get everybody proficient with what we're giving them first before we start adding other things on. Because one thing we don't want to do is get people frustrated. Because if you get your end users frustrated and make it too difficult for them to use, found out they start using it less and less, and then you start you don't get out of it what you want out of it.
I agree. So Todd, I don't want to butter you up, but I have to ask you. I mean, if you weren't involved in this project, do you think it would have happened?
No.
Right. And you're awesome, don't get me wrong, but you see the value of the internal technical or user administrator to move this
Correct.
along.
Yes.
Is that right?
That is correct. You need